ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणेश्वरं गुरुवरम् योगासनाध्यासितम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणेश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामज्जतव पवनचलनरोधात् आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्। Namo Ramana. We will commence the Friday Atma Vicharam by meditating on Bhagavan's Upadesham. We have been reading his teachings from the book Ramana Answers, Self-Enquiry 1900 to 1950, a book which contains the compilation of all the questions put to Bhagavan on the subject matter of Atma Vichara and Bhagavan's answer to them. This has been beautifully compiled for us by our founder, President Sri A.R. Natarajanji. After meditating on this week's question and answer, we will have a 20 minutes practice of Atma Vichara. Following that, our President Sarada would be talking on Atma Vichara as it has been gathered by Ganapati Muni to various questions put to Bhagavan by many devotees, and Ganapati Muni has compiled all of that in Sanskrit in the form of 18 chapters called Ramana Gita. Akka would be contemplating on self-enquiry as it has been compiled in Ramana Gita. And finally, we will have the concluding prayers to Bhagavan. In the series of question and answers that we have been looking, we have reached the 107th question in the Self-Enquiry book between 1936 to 9. These are questions put to Bhagavan between 1936 to 1950. And today's or this week's question, the devotee is asking, how can the mind be made to go? How can the mind be made to go? Bhagavan's answer, and which Appa, that is here Natarajanji, has actually highlighted it with an italics in this answer. So Bhagavan's answer is, no attempt is made to destroy it. To think or wish is in itself a thought. If the thinker is sought, the thoughts will disappear. This is Bhagavan's answer. The question is, how can the mind be made to go? And Bhagavan's answer is, no attempt is made to destroy it. To think or wish is in itself a thought. If the thinker is sought, the thoughts will disappear. So this is the true essence of self-enquiry. Manonasha. And Bhagavan says that all that appears, all that which is unreal, when removed, what remains is the truth. So here, when we think there is a mind and there is something that I need to go, Bhagavan doesn't accept any of these to be in reality. For Bhagavan and for all the Vedantic purpose, and the truth is, the self alone is. Therefore, to think there is something apart from the self, like the mind, like the body, like the world, which is there, and therefore I need to deal with it, is itself the wrong approach. That is, we are validating, or we have given reality to something which is not, accepting it to be there very firmly, and then having accepted it, we will be using the same means to remove. As Einstein says, you cannot solve the problem from the very thought from which it was created. So you have to get out of the box, find an out of the box kind of a solution. So here, Bhagavan is saying that having accepted the mind to be real, and then therefore, what is mind? Mind is a bundle of thoughts. Now I want to have another thought, which is a very special thought, which is, how do I destroy this mind? So I am using the mind to find again a solution which is also in the mind, and again I am trying to find another process which will be again using the mind to destroy that thought to that mind itself. So I'm holding on to the one which I want to throw. It is like I hold a stick and I say I want to throw it. But throw what? I want to throw this stick with this stick. If I say that, there is no way that I can really throw it, because the very idea of throwing is holding on to that very stick. I want to throw this stick using this stick. When I say so, it is impossible. It's a kind of a vicious circle that we are unknowingly committing ourselves to. So here Bhagavan is saying, no attempt is made to destroy it. So the very attempt to destroy should be given up, because all of that is in a way given reality to that which is not, and then trying to juggle with it. And he further goes on, to think or wish is to remove the thought itself, or to destroy the mind itself is another thought. Therefore, to wish or think to destroy is itself another thought. So that again, that is an impossible act to do. Therefore, he advises us to inquire, who is this thinker? Who is this one who wants to destroy the mind? A very important question. And there is no answer, no verbal answer. Again, if we hold on, or if we expect a verbal answer from anybody or from oneself, again it is going to appear in the same mind, and it is also not the right approach. Again, as much as we are trying to destroy it, trying to know is of it also is through the same mind. Therefore, this question, who is the thinker or who am I? Bhagavan says very clearly that we should hold on to that question until the truth reveals itself. There is an underlying truth to whom even this question, who am I, or to which, who is the thinker, is an object which is appearing to it. It makes that questions is making sense to it. So Bhagavan is asking, inquire to whom is that? who is that thinker, who is that I, really go for the one truth which is there as a substratum, to whom the mind and all this explanation seems to be appearing and being able to contemplate on it. Who is that? To whom it is appearing? So if one holds on to that question and tries to really find out that entity, that one truth, where there is nothing apart from it, then the thoughts also will disappear, the mind will also disappear, all dualities will disappear. And there, we can't even say there is ekatvam also. That which is alone going to remain. There is nobody to claim ekatva, or there is no entity to claim duality either in that. So until such time, the enquiry has to be used every time any objective knowledge appears in a form of a thought, in a form of anything. Again, we need to question, to whom is this? Again, we need to inquire, to whom did it appear? Who am I? So that very quest, really what it makes all objects that appear, whether it is in the very gross form as world and objects of real gross, or subtle ones which is in the form of thoughts, ideas and concepts, all of them is, since it's an objective thing, because of the force of this enquiry, it becomes very, very clear that they are unreal. And that is not going to bring us the true answer. That is the power of this enquiry. When we really, really question truly, then all these dualities will go away, or essentially we start looking for solutions in those objects, whether it is in the gross world, whether it is in the mental thoughts, we stop looking for solutions there. So the true neti starts to happen. This cannot give me the answer, therefore it is of no value. This starts to become more and more clear, very consciously clear. And the more and more it becomes consciously clear by the grace of the Sadguru, the more and the less and less the one who is doing the enquiry will indulge in finding an answer in any of them. The vairagya, the natural disinterest in all of them becomes natural to this enquirer. Eventually, the neti removes everything, and therefore it will not try to hang on to any solution, whether it is gross or subtle. It will not hold on to anything which is objective. What the Smriti and Shruti calls it as the Niralamba Sthiti. It is not going to look for holding on to anything. And when it reaches that and becomes silent, then that substratum, that natural truth alone will be seen to be shining, always present through and through, untouched by anything that has happened. And that, when it appears, when it becomes the natural experience of oneself by the grace of the Sadguru, then the thoughts will disappear, because there is no more the thinker, no more that entity which is given any reality at all. The substratum alone remains, and the substratum alone is seen as the true thing which is. So Bhagavan is saying here to believe the mind is there, and then to hold on to yet another thought to remove it or try to find anything is all like getting into a vicious circle of making an unreal thing real and trying to get rid of it. But on the contrary, if we get rid of all that is unreal, all that which comes and goes, and therefore it cannot bring the truth. Therefore, all thoughts, all gross things are inquired, and when it is let gone, and that is seen as the real sadhana, to let go that which is unreal, then the reality alone remains, and then it becomes self-evident. And therein, in that, no thoughts are required to experience that, since it is naturally available. So that is what Atma Vichara takes us. So that is the power of inquiry Bhagavan is revealing here by not answering the question, but again putting a question back to the questioner, making him get back to his natural state and not to take the answer and his attention to the thoughts also in his mind as real, but to seek the real answer which is available to him as the substratum. The abundant grace of Bhagavan, with which alone we have come to this direct path. This inquiry, no matter how many thoughts come, no matter how many objective ideas come, whether it is gross or subtle, when it appears, we should diligently inquire to whom is this and try to find to whom it appears. And this diligent turning of our conscious attention from towards object back towards the one to whom it all appears repeatedly makes us recognize that all these object things come and go, and that substratum, the truth, is continuous, unalloyed, and is ever present, like a Ajyadhara. So, with the abundant grace of Bhagavan, let us practice Atma Vichara for the next 20 minutes. Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Namo Ramana. Over to Sarada.
Namo Ramana. Prostrations to Ramana. Shining is the self in all beings. By the immense grace of the self manifest as Ramana, in this part of the Satsang, we are meditating on Bhagavan's answers to various seekers of truth as compiled by Ganapati Muni in Ramana Gita, and we are on the chapter 11, which is called Jnana Siddhi Samarasya Kathanam, the compatibility between Jnana and Siddhis. So after praising Bhagavan, after enjoying his company in solitude, just become what we call Ekanta Seva, Muni then also had the vision of Bhagavan as Lord Subramanya and went on to praise the aspects of Subramanya which he sees in Bhagavan. And then finally he asks his question. He poses the question, that is, is there a compatibility between siddhis and jnana? Jnanasya chapi siddhinam virodah kim parasparam utaho kopi sambandho vartate munikunjara. Are jnana and siddhis contradictory to each other? Then Bhagavan listens to this question and looking at Muni with great majesty, Gabhiraya drisha vikshya mamidam vakyam abravit. So last time we saw the first part of Bhagavan's answer, Sahajam sthiti marudah swabhavena dine dine tapascharati durdharsham Nalasyam sahajasthitau. In Ullad Narpad, Bhagavan says that there is no greater siddhi than abiding in the self. The same concept Bhagavan is giving a little differently over here. Those who naturally abide in the Swabhavena dine dine, always sahajam sthiti marudaha, those who are abiding in the natural state. What are they doing? Tapascharati durdharsham. In Upadesha Saram, it is said, Mahad idam tapo ramana vagiyam. This is the greatest tapas. Aham apetakam nija vibhanakam mahadidam tapo ramana vagiyam. So Bhagavan is saying that they are performing great penance. So is the performance of penance a siddhi or is it not a siddhi? What is a siddhi? What is a siddhi? Siddhi is normally seen to be the exhibition of the capacity to perform something occult, the exhibition of occult powers. And there are said to be Ashtamaha Siddhis, Anima, Mahima, Garima, Laghima, and so on. There are 8 Mahasiddhis. The capacity to become very small, the capacity to become very large, Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. The capacity to become very light, the capacity to become very heavy. Like this, there is Vyapti, there is a capacity to be all pervading. We know that Bhagavan had all the Ashtamaha Siddhis, And if there are some siddhis which are not described or included in those siddhis, those were also there with Bhagavan. But what Bhagavan is bringing attention to is that the greatest siddhi, the greatest achievement, siddhi actually is achievement. Karya siddhi, the achievement. So, what is the greatest achievement? The greatest achievement is to be abiding in the self continuously. That is the greatest tapas, that's the greatest penance. See, it's not easy to perform penance. Penance, tapas, it is burning. It is like you are in the fire. That is what is tapaha. So you are undergoing penance, you're putting yourself through the ordeal of fire in some way. So Bhagavan is saying they are performing Durdarsham tapaha. Very difficult penance is being performed by such people. Nalasyam. It's not as if they are simply sitting quiet doing nothing. That's what Bhagavan is saying. Although in the Upadesha Saram and in Saddarshanam, Bhagavan has said, Krityamasti kim swasthitim yata aham kritim yo lasati grasitva kim tasya karyam parishishtamasti. What is there left for him to do, to be achieved or to be even to do? There is nothing left for him to do, Bhagavan says. But here he says, na alasyam, na alasyam sajastitau. Tapastadeva durdharsham yanishta sajatmani tena nityena tapasa bhavet pakakshane kshane. So Bhagavan says that these people who are naturally abiding in the self, that alone he repeats is difficult penance. See, tapas tadeva durdarsham, that alone is difficult penance. Not in the earlier verse he said, tapas charati durdharsham, they perform difficult. Tapas tadeva durdarsham, that alone is difficult penance. And what happens? Tena nityena tapasa bhavet pakakshane kshane. He says this abidance, it results in ripening, moment to moment, ripening. Bhavet pakakshane kshane, every moment there is a ripening. Paripakena kale syuhu siddhasyat tapas siddhayasta tapaschayat. Paripakena kale syuhu siddhayasta tapashyataha prarabdham yadi tabhisyat viharo jnaninopi cha. And when they are thus right, then we may perceive that they display some siddhis, says Bhagavan. Siddhasya tata pashyati. Tata. Here, Muni says Bhagavan addresses him as child. My dear child, they may display some siddhis when they are totally ripe, when their self-abidance is totally ripe. What Bhagavan is indicating by this is also that until the self-abidance is ripe, one should not get carried away and perform siddhis. Because Muni's question is there a contradiction between jnana and siddhis? So Bhagavan is saying, let us not allow the mind to think of any achievement other than self-knowledge as worth attaining. constantly looking only at self-knowledge as worth attaining, constantly turning back to the self, performing only that penance when the abidance becomes steady, and when the tapas, when the penance reaches its pinnacle and ripens, and the jnani ripens, at that time he or she may display some occult powers if it is so decided by the will of the Supreme. Prarabdham yadita visyat. If that jnani is meant to display powers, he or she will display. Here again, Bhagavan is indicating that the jnani submits to that supreme force which has ordained the lives of all manifest beings. Prarabdham yadita visyat. Only if it is his or her prarabdha, the jnani will display occult powers. Yatha prapancha grahane swarupan netaran mune siddhaya kriyamanascha swarupan netarat tata. So here Bhagavan is saying, Siddhaya yatha prapancha grahane swarupan netaran mune siddhaya kriyamanascha swarupan netaratstata. The person who is performing these occult is exhibiting or exercising these occult powers is not really thinking that he or she is exercising these powers. Why? Because he says he does not see prapancha grahane swarupan netaran munehe. He doesn't see the prapancha, the world apart from the swarupa. The jnani doesn't see a world at all. He sees only the swarupa. Therefore, when he is performing siddhis also, he doesn't see those performances, those actions as apart from the swarupa. For the jnani, there is only the swarupa. For though he or she may be performing some special actions, they may be performing siddhis, miracles, what we call miracles, may be performed. Such a one does not see them as miracles. For him, there is no difference between the miraculous actions and the normal actions and the non-action, because everything is only in the self. When Humphreys met Bhagavan, the first Western seeker met Bhagavan in 1911 at Virupaksha cave, one of the questions he posed to Bhagavan was, Bhagavan, Master, can I perform miracles like Krishna and Jesus performed miracles? Bhagavan's answer was, when they performed miracles, did they think they were performing miracles? Did they think, oh, I am going to perform this miracle? I am performing this miracle? They never thought about it. There was no thought. There was no motive. There was no sankalpa. There was no purpose. There was no need to display a power. There was no purpose for that miracle either. There was no motive and there was no purpose for that power. So Bhagavan is here saying everything is the self and the self alone. Indirectly, he is saying, why worry about the miracles? Why worry about the actions? They may happen, they may not happen. Miracles may happen, miracles may not happen. In fact, he tells Humphreys another thing also. He says, no matter what you see in this world, no matter what you see in this world, whatever phenomena you see, earth also performs amazing things happen in nature. The rain comes, the rain does not come, earthquakes happen, tornadoes happen, the tsunamis happen, or sometimes nothing happens, planets keep moving. Even that is a great miracle. So, the great miracles are happening in nature automatically. But even if you see all this, says Bhagavan, even if you see the display of God's power, even if you see wonderful things, or you see horrific things, whatever you see, don't bother about anything which you see. This is what Bhagavan tells Humphreys. Just think strange things are happening. Strange things will be happening. Everything is a strange thing. Don't think, oh, this is a wonderful thing, this is a bad thing, this is a siddhi, this is a miracle, this is a non miracle. No. All these strange things are happening, but I am not concerned with any of these things. As a sadhana, he tells Humphreys, do not look at any of the phenomenon which are perceived. Do not even look at the process of perceiving these phenomenon. Rather, look only, turn your attention only to that which sees, that which perceives, that which experiences. Get back constantly from experiences, from the experiencer to the self. This is what Bhagavan tells Humphreys also. So here also he says it does not matter. Bhavennayasya prarabdham shakti purnopyayam munim shakti purnopyayam munihi antaranga ivambodhir na kinchidapi cheshtate. Because he says that the jnani is not worried. He doesn't see these miracles as apart from the self, nor is he seeking anything at all. He is constantly abiding in the self alone. So, what is the wise one whose fate does not express occult powers? What does he do? He also is not bothered. If his prarabdha is not to show any occult powers, so what does he do? Bhave nayasya prarabdham. Supposing his prarabdham is not there to show any Shakti Purnopyayam Munihi. What does he do? He simply stays in his own natural state. He stays absolutely calm, absolutely silent, though he is full of power. Although he is full of power, he does not do any action. Na kinchidapi cheshtate. So he does not at all move. Nanyam ragayate margam nisargadatmani sthitah sarvasamapi shaktinam samashti swatmani sthitihi. All the powers are sarvasamapi shaktinam samashti swatmani sthitihi. All powers are only in self-abidance, says Bhagavan. Such a person, nanyam mrigayate, he does not search for anything. He simply abides in the self. Here, the previous verse, he says, Shakti Purnopyayam Muni. Even though he is full of power, Antaranga Ivam Bodhihi, like a ocean which has no waves. See, the ocean which Bhagavan here is giving the beautiful example of a waveless ocean for one who does not display the jnani, who does not display any occult powers. Is like the waveless ocean. And the one who displays those occult powers, he is like the ocean which has waves, which has tsunamis, which has currents in it, and which is calm sometimes, which is tossed sometimes. But is the ocean touched by any of these things? Does the movement of the waves touch the ocean in any manner? Does it impact? Does the pouring down of rain, torrents of rain may pour down into the ocean? Does it matter? The waters may evaporate and go up as clouds. Does it matter? Nothing will matter to the ocean. But if you look at the same ocean, when there is no movement in that ocean, then that jnani who is not exhibiting any powers is like that ocean, says Bhagavan, and there is no need to search for powers. There is no need to look for anything other than the self. In our own sadhana, it is an indication to us that anything we may believe to be an achievement, let it happen, let the siddhis come according to the prarabdha. If any achievements come to us in life, let them come according to the prarabdha. If achievements do not come to us in life, let them not also come according to prarabdha. But what is our highest duty? Already in the third chapter, it has been told self-abidance is the highest duty. Here, Bhagavan is saying self-abidance is the greatest achievement. It is the greatest power. It is the greatest tapas. It is all that has to be done. By His grace, let that happen in the fruition of the right time. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri.
Namo Ramana. Apara Satchit Sukhavarirashi Yasyormimatram Bhuvanam Samastam Guhahitam Tam Ramanam Gabhiram Chinta Vihinam Hrudi Chintayami Chinta Vihinam Hrudi Chintayami. Namo Ramana to all.
Namo Ramana, Dileep. Thank you.
Thank you.